Important in this league that you have a bounce back, you have a toughness about you that you have to understand that what just happened to you, that now that how you respond to it's what's within your control. So obviously today is about us turning the page and learning from last night, and then we'll go right into the South Carolina Film and Scout. So that's the plan for today. We're looking forward to getting back to work.
Katie?
Hey, Coach. Y'all are now at the halfway point in the conference schedule. Kind of just assess where your team's at, maybe what you're most proud of the first half of the season, and then what y'all are still working towards.
Obviously, to have 5 conference wins, if we can continue to do that in the second half of the season and improve on that number, we'll have ourselves in a great position. So I've loved the start that our team's gotten off to in conference play. I think I've mentioned on other occasions, love the start that our team got off to in non-conference play, and the way we went on to the road and, had some experiences. Oklahoma State obviously just beat Texas. That's a huge win. Houston had a great win a couple days ago. So we feel like we put ourselves in a position with our preseason schedule, considering everything around COVID, to really challenge us. So from our preseason, now headed into conference, we have ourselves in a position to continuously improve every day and grow in our response after a win or a loss. Those that can be the most tough mentally and physically are the ones that are going to be able to sustain a great February.
James?
Hey, Coach, you talked a lot about effort last night and kind of called out some of the starters, and in particular, Araya. What did you see from her today as a response, and what do you expect from her on Sunday?
Well, I certainly don't want it to be that I called them out. I don't think I called them out. I think we talked about what happened in the game as far as the questions and just tried to be honest. The reality of the situation is I don't ever want to call a kid out. I'll first look at myself, and secondly, try to find a way to coach and teach and help them respond better. We practice here in a few minutes, so we'll go at 1. We'll be on the floor for an hour and 10 minutes today and another 50 minutes in the film room prior. So after watching the film, I think it just reaffirmed that, we have some areas that we're going to have to show up and play in and night out in this league. There's no day, no night, no moment. We need to win, 3 out of 5 positions to put ourselves in a position to be successful, and we didn't do that last night. And I thought that our bench, I thought Destiny, Myra, really tried to come in and help us. I thought Jazz, but we've got some areas we've got to improve. We've got to make plays and finish plays and continue to do all the things that we know why we got the 5 wins compared to why we have a night like last night. So I certainly appreciate your question, but I don't feel like I called them out. I felt like I was honest about effort and energy, and a few things on the scout that we looked like we were oblivious to defensively. So we'll work on it.
Roger?
Coach, what are your main takeaways from the first matchup against South Carolina, and then what have you seen from them on film since then?
Well, I take away 26 offensive rebounds. We're about to watch each one of those and how that happened and what are some things that we can do better. Put them in a position to be successful defensively that caused some of those rotations and some of those windows for those offensive rebounds to happen. Free throw box outs, little things that we're going to work on today that hopefully we'll be able to improve, because you can't give up 26 offensive rebounds and be successful. And then we've got to improve our transition defense. I mean, we didn't do a good job in those 2 areas. And against a team like South Carolina, points in the paint matter, and we've got to defend the paint. That'd be putbacks, and that'd be transition and easy baskets. So those 2 things are what I take away. And then, as South Carolina's continued to move along, they've continued to have great balance, even more so than ever. They're pushing the basketball in transition. Destiny Henderson has been outstanding at the point guard position, and we've got to have great balance. Again, when we have that 4th player in double figures, kind of like Kentucky did last night, you're going to be more successful. So I think the team that can find balance offensively and really come to defend the paint, it's going to be a big difference in the game for us.
James?
Hey, Coach, Jasmine Walker obviously coming off of a huge game, and she was going up against another really good player in Howard. and now having to face South Carolina, who also has a lot of really good players on their team. How big is it for her to have these big performances in the big games for her, not only this season for your team, but moving forward for her career?
It's just a tribute to her hard work, and it's great to see that paying off. I think the thing about Jazz last night was how aggressive she was offensively. I thought the second half, the way she came out and got 3 offensive rebounds, she knew that was something at half we talked about. We didn't have an offensive board. And for her to come out in the second half and try to impact that stat sheet, I thought she did a really good job defensively last night. And made some hustle plays on the defensive end. So I thought overall it was one of her best well-rounded games, not just points. I thought she was selfless. I mean, she gave it up a time or two in transition, and we missed layups. So I love her game right now because she's trying to not only step up, but she's trying to make everybody around her better. And she's really playing selflessly, and I think you're starting to see her game, her game individually benefit from her selflessness with our team.
AP.
Hey, Coach, I was going to ask you about coaching on the road this year. Not as many fans. Does that help your team maybe relax a little bit more? And then also, at this point in the season, are teams trying to play more man against you, more zone? I mean, what has been the look for you?
I think with the road environment this year because of COVID, it's not anything any of us have experienced. And obviously, the home court advantage is not at the level that it has been here or away. But I do feel like those that are there are really loud and vocal and bring a lot of energy. I thought Kentucky's group last night brought a lot of energy. It's kind of interesting to see the cutouts in some environments and not in others. And then some places are using the crowd noise and some aren't. And so as we head into each experience, we kind of evaluate, what the situation's going to be. And I feel like our kids have been really focused on the road. That's an area that our experience, I think, has really helped us. And obviously our point production on the road, there's a difference than at home. And that's something that we continue to work on, trying to be better at home as well. Sometimes you go on the road and all you have is each other. And that's really all you need. And I feel like our kids have taken that approach. Last night, we did not do that, but we have done that the majority of the time, and I hope we can do that again on Sunday. And then what was the second part of your question, AP? I apologize. Defensively?
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
We've seen different looks. I think people are trying to control the tempo because we love, obviously, to push the ball in transition. We were a little bit passive at times last night. Credit Kentucky on that. But I think we've seen majority man, but we'll also see zone. We'll also see some pressing. We'll see some containment press. And, that's just the SEC night in and night out. People are going to change their defenses, try to control the tempo on both sides of the ball, and that's something last night. We were at our best when we were attacking and pushing, and we were at our worst when we were hesitant, and we've got to continue to know what our strengths are and work toward those regardless of the kind of defense. I thought last night we had some breakdowns in communication. There were 3 shot clock violations with an experienced backcourt that we just can't afford. We'll try and do a better job from the sideline and the bench as well on shot clocks and changing defenses. So first and foremost, I need to coach that better, and we'll work on that today.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys. Happy Roll Tide Friday.
Thank you, Coach.